is the moment UFC fans around the world have been waiting for. It's time!
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the MMA Countdown. I am Justin. I am joined with Blip. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about our 2016 pretty much Fight of the Year and awards for 2016, since it is 2017, just a brand new year. Hopefully we have an incredible year here at the MMA Countdown. Looking forward to it. Make sure you comment down below your awards for 2016. And let's waste no time. Let's get right into it. Hopefully everybody had a great new year and has a great 2017. But let's waste no time, and let's start off with... Do you want to start off with Fight of the Year?
Well, Fight of the Year is obvious. Well, it's obviously obvious. Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind. Best fighter of the year, and years to come, for sure.
I definitely agree with you with Conor McGregor. I mean, there's other nominations out there with, obviously, Cody Garbrandt had an incredible year. Michael Bisping had an incredible year. Dominic Cruz possibly could have been it if he won that fight. I still think he's a nominee. But I agree with you with Conor McGregor. I mean, what he's changed for the sport. I mean, he's a reason...
He jumped around weight classes, still won.
I mean, he's probably a reason why the sport's over $4 billion and is worth that point this much at this point. He's obviously the first person to hold two belts at the same time, two divisions, featherweight and lightweight. He embarrassed Eddie Alvarez, who was the champion at the time, and he was knocking out everybody. He obviously overcame adversity after losing to Nate Diaz. I think that shows a lot about him, who he is. If he lost that fight 2 in a row, that's tough to overcome, but he didn't let that happen. He fought a great fight, 5 rounds, went the distance, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens in 2017 for him. He said he's going to be off for 10 months. I would love to see a trilogy. Although we got that featherweight title stripped, I mean, we all knew that was coming. Well, I did. But, yeah, Fight of the Year, I think, hands down, got to be McGregor.
What do we think is coming after him? Is he fighting Floyd? Is he fighting...
No, he's not fighting Floyd. I can't see him fighting Floyd. I think that's just all rumors. I think in the boxing, I think Floyd would just embarrass him. I think he's too quick for him. And obviously in an MMA cage, it would be McGregor. But I can't see that happening unless it's like a lot of money on the line. But Floyd doesn't need the money. McGregor doesn't need the money. McGregor said he would do it if he gets paid a certain amount, but I think it's just all talk.
But I think myself, Floyd, he's scared for his legacy pretty much. Because he sees all the things with McGregor, how good he is. He doesn't want to lose. And he might think McGregor's the only person that could beat him.
Well, Floyd's too quick for him. I think he's just too quick.
He doesn't want to fight him. He's one of the biggest trash talkers in every sport.
Well, I don't think he doesn't want to fight him. I mean, he said he would at numerous points. I think it's just, I just think there's no point for either one of them to. I think it just doesn't make sense. But, I mean, everybody wants to fight McGregor at this point. He's the hottest thing in UFC. He's the hottest thing in MMA, boxing. He's just the hottest fighter in the world right now. Everybody wants a taste of his money.
Hottest athlete right now.
Yeah, I mean, look at Cody Garbrandt. Look at everybody calling him out. Tyrone Woodley. Everybody wants to fight him just because it's a big payday, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, he is having a kid, so he said he's taking off 10 months. Dana White already confirmed that, so we're definitely gonna have a. If that's true, we're definitely gonna have a new Fight of the Year for 2017. But what about Women's Fighter 2017? I think that's got to be Amanda Nunes, right?
Even though Holly Holm beat Rousey, Nunes also beat Rousey, completely destroyed her.
Holly Holm lost her last 2 fights, and Amanda Nunes just has knockout power. Basically retired Miesha Tate, possibly retired Rousey. I don't think there's anybody else. I mean, you got Joanna, who was 2-0 on the year, I think. She's incredible as well, but Amanda Nunes really broke out this year and is making a star out of herself.
And Amanda Nunes, she's just crazy. She's like 3rd degree or 4th degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. She has crazy striking power. Like, you guys saw what she did to Rousey. Like, what was it, 48 seconds?
48 seconds.
She's just... Right now she's unstoppable. She's also hot right now, just coming off the win Rousey.
Yeah.
Even though she's going on break right now.
Yeah. Joanna's incredible, though. She had a great year, 2-0, obviously successfully defended her belt. Overcame adversity in a couple of tough fights this year, and she's undefeated. And I think her and Demetrius Johnson are probably two of the people and the champions that keep successfully defending their belt. Because other than that, a lot of the belts keep switching hands right now.
Yeah, but some upcoming woman fighters that you also gotta remember. When Raquel Pennington, I think she will be good. When she fought Miesha Tate, that was like one of her first UFC fights. There's a lot of upcoming women's UFC
Beat home
fighters.
too.
So.
Yeah, the division's getting better and better. That's why I said just a year ago when Rousey was dominating, the division's got a lot better.
Nunes better be training in her off season and not just sit there like Rousey did.
You think Rousey was just sitting there? You don't think she was training?
She wasn't training the whole time. She wasn't training. I think she was training the second there was talks of her fighting Nunes. I think for the first 6 months, she was just crying, sobbing, whatever she does.
What do you think was the fight of the year for 2016?
Our fighter of the year, McGregor, might be one of them. It might be the McGregor.
Diaz.
McGregor Alvarez.
I think McGregor Alvarez was just a joke. I think he dropped him like 3 times within the first 40 seconds. But McGregor Diaz 1 was incredible, and McGregor Diaz 2 was even better in my opinion. That fight was great. McGregor overcame adversity for the great fight, 5 rounds, and that was a really, really close fight. I think it was like 3-2 rounds, McGregor. But my fight of the year was Condit Lawler. I mean, that fight started the year off, and that fight was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. Other than Stephen Bonner, Forrest Griffin, that round 5 was crazy. They both took shots, and I think Carlos Condit won that fight. And we haven't.
About that fight.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy. 5th round, they just started dogging it out there.
Yeah.
Definitely fight of the year.
And Robbie Lawler and Condit, I mean, suffered a lot of damage in that fight. I think they fought one more fight after that, and we haven't seen them. But I think Lawler's scheduled soon, and I think Condit possibly retired since after that fight he lost after that. And then 2016 upset of the year, you gotta say Diaz.
Yeah.
You know, Diaz, McGregor. But then you also can't forget about Bisping Rockhold. Bisping was on a couple days' notice, and he went out there. He's also possibly fight of the year. He went out there and knocked out Rockhold. He's not a knockout artist. He went out there after he lost the first fight to Rockhold. Rockhold was talking a lot, and he just went out there and knocked him out through a perfect punch in the first round. And he's been through a lot in his career, and he really, I'm glad for the guy. In an incredible 2016, he beat probably the greatest fighter of all time, in my opinion, Anderson Silva. That fight was controversial. I would like to see them fight again, but he won that fight. You can't argue with the result. He fought a good fight. He won the fight, and then he knocked out Rockhold. You know, that could also be upset of the year. I would say he did that.
I think Anderson Silva's done.
Yeah.
The way he fought against DC in that fight, he wasn't trying. He was just screwing around. He's too old for the game. He's still probably, not, his skill level is not, but his legacy is probably one of the best ever, but... He's
definitely the greatest striker, in my opinion. You never knew what he was going to throw. He would throw some crazy stuff, He's obviously one of the greatest, but like you said, I feel like that fight was just crazy. Whether he threw a knee or whatever, and then they said it didn't count. The round was over. Herb Dean stopped it. It was just an incredible fight. It was a crazy fight, but Bisping won it in the end. I'd love to see them fight again. Because Silva's still got incredible abilities. He's definitely getting older. Like you said, I feel like sometimes he just, because he has nothing to prove anymore.
He takes the fights as a joke now. He knows like his skill level.
But you gotta respect what he did against DC. He took that in a couple of days' notice. I mean, that was UFC 200. John Jones, obviously, we know what happened there. and then he came out a couple days' notice, and he made that a fight. You know.
Let's talk about the whole John Jones thing. On what actually happened. I don't know if everybody knows what the.
Well, I saw the Joe Rogan podcast. You know, I don't know if everyone saw the Joe Rogan podcast with John Jones. That was really the first time they really sat down and talked about everything John Jones since the situation. And, you know, if that's the case, and it's true that he did take just, you know, one of those pills, you know, I think, I don't think that's a substance enhancer. I think it was a trace pill, they said. And if that's the case, I just can't, I don't respect the decision, especially a year, you know.
Yeah.
Because he said that it, even...
Why is John Jones even, like, he's been out now, he comes back for, like, one fight after a long time. Why does he even, like, mess with that stuff?
Well, to his defense, they said that even if he checked with USADA, that it wouldn't even have mattered because it wasn't even an ingredient. So it wouldn't have mattered. They would have gave him the okay, and he still would have got found for it. But I don't know if that's true or not. That's what they said on the Joe Rogan podcast. You know. But that was 2016. Now let's talk about 2017 predictions. Who do you think will be the fighter of the year for 2017?
Fighter of the year. There's a lot of good fighters coming out now. I would say maybe Cody Garbrandt.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Everything with TJ Dillashaw is also going up. There's a lot of good fighters.
Yeah. 2017, it's tough, but I like Cody Garbrandt. I think he's a star in the making. I think he talks trash. He's
the next Conor McGregor.
He's got the skill level. I think he possibly could be a candidate for the fighter of the year. What's the 2017 upset of the year?
Up to come?
Yeah.
I would say Amanda Nunes. If she loses somehow, if somebody could beat her, she loses, that's upset of the year. If she's hot right now.
I don't know if you could really call it an upset, but I think Rumble Johnson's going to get the belt this year. I think he could also be 2017 Fighter of the Year somehow. I think he's going to win the belt sometime this year. And I think... What?
He's going to beat DC?
Yeah, I think he's going to beat DC. Because the first fight, he really rocked DC. He hurt DC. DC went flying back, but he's tough, man. And he fought back and he dominated him on the ground. But I think DC, if Rumble Johnson could upgrade, get better on the floor and make it, because all it takes is one punch for Rumble. Nobody's got knockout power like Rumble does. It just takes one punch, and he rocks DC. You know, that's a good game at that point. You know.
Yeah.
And I think he could possibly win the belt. And 2017 is going to be a great year. I'm looking forward to it. And let us know in the comment section your 2016 awards and your 2017 predictions. And hopefully it's a great year. It starts off with UFC 208. It's Holly Holm versus Duranda May, which we talked about in our last podcast for a little bit. And let us know your thoughts about that. It is February 11, 2017 in the Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. Second pay-per-view there since it got legalized. But make sure you subscribe to us. We're going to be uploading a lot of content. And drop a like as well. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.